Sec. Oh, we're live now.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to episode number 71 of the Below the Yellow Line podcast. I'm your host, Joelani Pavlon. As always, I have my colleagues, Justin Hebert, Daniel Ford, Austin Plant will show up in just a few moments, and hopefully we'll be able to bring in Race Day 2011, a.k.a. Robbie Noonan, in for later on this podcast, as a lot of stuff is happening in the world of motorsport, including NASCAR's doubleheader at Michigan, Xfinity Series making their first standalone appearance of the year at Road America, and Max Verstappen putting a stop to the Mercedes throne at Silverstone for the 70th anniversary Grand Prix. Before we get started, I just want to thank everyone for watching the videos that we post here on World Racing Media. We're at 164 subscribers. Entering this year, we were at 83. And now the number continues to rise. I think we're going to hit 200 in a few months.
Hit the like button and subscribe.
And also share.
Yeah, share the videos.
Absolutely. All right. There he is.
Oh, you didn't see me wave my hand. Hello. I'm back.
Hello.
I've been working, and now we're talking about racing. Joe?
First and foremost, Austin, you were at the race at Loudon. What was attending a NASCAR race under the COVID-19 pandemic like?
Well, he took off.
Yeah, he took off real quick.
So, it's this plug. It keeps getting stuck down there, and it unplugs. And that's how it connects from my headset to my computers. Sorry. I did get a couple of things as well, and I think my shirt's up. I did get a Chase Elliott's sticker from my car, and a small die cast with Napa Auto Parts. And very quickly, where's the shirt? No, that's not the shirt. That's the shirt I wore. This Chase Elliott shirt with the front and the
That's
back.
looking real dapper.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Nice.
I didn't take much photos. Only if you friends with me on Facebook,
Okay.
Instagram, and you would see them.
Nice.
All right, that said,
I don't
did
know.
they make you wear face masks, Austin? And how many rows apart were everyone at the track in New Hampshire?
Yes. And is my volume fine? Because I'm having problems with this as well. Like I'm hearing people saying there's some weird bad echoing.
I hear echoing.
Yeah, I don't know why, but stupid me was sucking with this with my mouth, and it must have cost us shorts. So.
All right, first question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bubba Wallace fan. What do you think about Bubba possibly going to the 42? It's possible.
Never say never, man. You know what?
Driver,
I would be upset. If
driver needs the car.
Yeah, people need to drive cars because Matt Kenseth can't race forever. That's true because you can't, except if he wants to be like Morgan Shepherd, racing in his 70s.
But here's the thing. Let's be honest. Bubba Wallace is a great, talented driver who in the Cup Series has never had that chance to drive in a decent car for the level of his skills.
Yeah, like Richard Petty Motorsports equipment is not good when... Remember before when Richard Petty's equipment was solid? Now it's not solid. It's slow. That's why they don't run. People say, "Oh, I would do better in the car." I'm like, no. You have probably
don't
never even
the name of the team.
Yeah, it's
because
just like
Petty owns it doesn't mean that they're unstoppable. And
no,
he has a contract to them. Yeah, that's true. But he also has a stake in Richard Petty Motorsports, so we'll have to see where that leads us to. But let's get into some of the race reviews.
Yeah.
Start off with the doubleheader at Michigan for rounds 21 and 22. So race 1, Kevin Harvick won that after winning both of the stages. 92 laps were led by the driver, the number 4, who now has 5 wins total at the track. That was his 54th career win, and he started 3rd. And then we'll go down the top 10 real quick. Brad Keselowski started 5th, finished 2nd. Martin Truex Jr. finished in 3rd after starting 12th. Ryan Blaney, who led 27 laps, finished in the 4th spot. And Kyle Busch, a top 5 with a car that nearly looked like it was going to victory lane. He did lead 4 laps and started in the 7th spot. Denny Hamlin, who led 10 laps, finished 6th. Chase Elliott, who nearly scored his first career win 4 years ago in 2016, finished 7th at this track. He led 9 laps for car number 9. Joey Logano led 18 laps from the pole to finish in 8th. And Bubba Wallace, a 9th place run. Kurt Busch in the top 10. And some of the notables include Eric Jones, who finished in 11th. Jimmy Johnson, 12th. William Byron, 14th. And Cole Custer retiring in 34th place.
Hooray to him. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, those guys really did a great job.
Some people did do good. Some people, their cars just were not competitive. Like some cars started the race good, but towards the end of the race, their cars faded and fell towards the back of the field.
Yep. Very unfortunate, but you win some, you lose some.
But one of these drivers had the last 2 races. Michigan was the worst weekend of his career.
Oh, Brad Keselowski.
No, Brad did good the first race.
The first race, yes, but
this driver did Brad in both races.
Brian Blaney.
No, Blaney did good in the other one. Alex Bowman.
Good help.
It's Bowman.
He finished 21st on Saturday. Yesterday, P37. A P36. That's the problem.
At the track most similar to where he won earlier this season in Fontana.
Yeah.
So race 2, Kevin Harvick won, once again sweeping the weekend for his 55th career win.
Rusty Wallace.
On stage 2, yes. Rusty Wallace ties him on the record. 55 wins total. Now 1 win away from tying Kyle Busch on the all-time list, despite Kyle being active. Many people, of course, going into the season thought Kyle Busch reaching 60 total wins in the Cup Series was a possibility. That has not even happened yet.
That's not happened yet.
Yeah, it's just like he's not like there's something with him that nothing's clicking on that.
If this were any other driver,
it's just been,
those numbers would be a good season. Just remember. So Denny Hamlin finished in the 2nd spot, led 6 laps, started 15th. Martin Truex Jr., who recovered from early race troubles with a puncture, finished in the 3rd spot. So 2 third-place finishes for MTJ. Kyle Busch led 4 laps, started 16th, finished in the 4th spot. Joey Logano in 5th, who started 13th. Eric Almirola, a solid 6th, very good for the points, led 9 laps. Matt DiBenedetto, who was kind of on the bottom end of the drivers, still looking for that win while in the playoffs. A well-needed 7th. Austin Dillon, 8th. Chase Elliott in 9th. And Kurt Busch, back-to-back 10th place finishes for the Las Vegas native. Now, drivers beneath the top 10 include Clint Boyer, who led 43 laps, won stage 1, and started 2nd, finishing 14th. Doesn't really do you much justice when you are trying to get into a playoff spot. Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski, 38th and 39th, both retired out of the race with contact or entering the backstretch.
Yep.
Blaney led 4 laps, and Keselowski finished 39th. What happened there?
I think between Keselowski and Blaney, Brad even said that he made a mistake. He said he should have drafted him to the back straightaway, but Brad tried to dive and make a move, but the thing was, how he got loose, he clipped the apron, which sent up the track, got loose underneath Ryan Blaney.
And that's what connected them both.
Yeah, so he basically said he should have not dove underneath. He should have waited, get a run down the back into turn 3 would have worked better than turn 1. Because turn 1 and turn 3 are different by a little bit. Turn 1 is a little bit flat. You could hit the apron easier than turn 3, so he said he should have made the move in turn 3 would have worked out better.
Even the best can make mistakes, and that certainly was proven. So with that said, the next race will be the Daytona Road Course, first ever running of that event. It will be round 23 of 36. Now it's confirmed 36 races on the Cup Series schedule, but there are 4 races left in the regular season, so the playoff standings look like this. So the drivers locked in through wins. Now Kevin Harvick, 6 wins, more than any other driver this season. Of course, Denny Hamlin, 5 victories. Brian Keselowski has 3 wins, and Joey Logano with 2 wins. The rest of the drivers from 5th to the 10th spot are sitting at 1 win apiece. Those drivers include Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, Ryan Blaney, Martin Truex Jr., Austin Dillon, and Cole Custer. Now, beneath the secure line for drivers that secure through winning a race, we have the drivers in the playoffs without a win. Eric Almirola plus 158. Above the cut line, Kyle Busch is plus 140. Kurt Busch plus 137. And then Clint Boyer plus 60 and 14th. Despite not getting a top 10, that stage 1 win was monumental for the Kansas native.
64 points is close still. That's literally how many is Clint Boyer ahead of the cutoff?
60 points.
That 2 races, if somebody catches 2 races, that's, because you get 48 in 1 race. Like, it's close. The board does not want a DNF at this point.
Matt DiBenedetto plus 57, and William Byron plus 26 is the last driver outside the cut line. So let's go beneath the cut line from 17th to 20th. Eric Jones, who's been on the headlines this past week, we'll get into that later, minus 26, as well as Jimmy Johnson. Tyler Reddick is minus 36, while Christopher Bell, who is confirmed to go to Joe Gibbs Racing next year in the Cup Series, minus 122, pretty much leaning on a win.
Yeah. Like, it's like a thing that William Byron really doesn't need is to get a DNF. He's 26 points. If you get a DNF, if people don't know how many points NASCAR, if you get last place, 1 single point. If Eric Jones gets more, like 27 points, Eric Jones will be ahead. William Byron would be 1 point behind. So basically, at this point, William does not want to have a DNF. And
it gets even rougher now. The next 4 races that are remaining in the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series are probably the toughest 4 races that are in the regular season as an entirety. We're going to the Daytona Road Course next week, the track that is host of the legendary 24 Hours of Daytona in each January of the year.
And
follow that, you have a doubleheader at Dover.
That's a tough track.
Tracks concrete, very, very unfriendly to a loose race car.
It's a self-cleaning track. Basically, if anybody wrecks on high, they slide to the bottom. And then you got Daytona at the oval.
Yes, the Daytona 400 is going to wrap up the regular season.
And you know what happens on super speedways.
You can go from the top 5 to out of the race. All because
just like that.
Yep.
Did something that was a little bit wrong.
Or if you are from
There is no comfort room at all. If you are, I'd say, beneath the Busch brothers in points.
Yeah, so basically Clint Boyer on back and DiBenedetto, that region, you gotta make sure you don't DNF. But
and
William,
if anyone wins beneath the top 16, which is going to be more likely than ever for the next 4 races.
Yep.
And the playoffs will be shaken up once again.
Yes.
Or LaJoy wins Daytona Oval.
Listen,
he's 29th in the standings.
Never say never.
Never say never with any one of these.
Even if it's a long shot.
Yeah, like Nobody expected Justin Haley to win Daytona last year, and he ended up winning.
Yeah.
No one
Like,
expected
due
Cole
to
Custer
rain
to win
delay.
Kentucky this year.
Yeah, nobody expected Cole Custer to win or Austin Dillon to win. Nobody expected that, and they ended up winning.
Right. But let's get into the drivers who have proven themselves this season. Kevin Harvick has 55 career wins in the NASCAR Cup Series. And if you follow NASCAR on YouTube, the Iceberg, Jared, I'm sure his video was something you watched before coming here to watch the podcast tonight. Kevin Harvick is NASCAR's most underappreciated driver. You know what? He's not wrong about that, because while Harvick has raced in Stewart-Haas equipment starting from 2014, he knocked out a title and has an average of, I think, about 5 plus 5 point something wins each season. I can't get off the top of my head. It's incredible.
And also,
and he's all doing this in his 40s.
Yeah, people say he's out of his prime. He's turning 45 this year, and look what he's doing.
I think Kevin Harvick ages like fine wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's
That's a
like
perfect way to put it.
Yeah, it's like so impressive. And also, there's some people that don't like Kevin Harvick because of what he used to do. Remember his fights?
I mean,
when he drove RCR, but like people don't still remember that, but they don't like that he's winning.
Kevin Harvick is such a solid driver.
Yeah.
It's powerful. I think being a solid performer on the racetrack is powerful. Like, I mean, if you just look back into what we saw with Kyle Busch and Adam Stevens last year, or even Martin Truex Jr. and Cole Pern.
Yeah.
2019, the one season they spent together at Joe Gibbs Racing before Cole Pern went on. By the way, you'll be seeing him at Indy with Ed Carpenter's team later this month. Yeah. We'll get into that later. But the thing is that if you're consistent, that's it.
Yeah. And
don't fix what ain't broke.
Yeah. Yeah, like, he's so consistent. He's not DNFing a lot. Like, he finishes races. He just doesn't win. He gets top 5s and top 10s, which really helps his points. That's how he has a 137-point lead right now over Brad Keselowski. Like, Harvick has a big points lead. He's the only person with 900 points. Like, he has these big points lead.
That's a big points lead right there.
Yeah, 137.
You guys thought 2018 was monstrous?
Yeah, so far in 2020, he's has 6 wins.
You know what? The fact,
that's my take.
Don't forget. Don't ever count out Denny Hamlin as well.
Yeah,
he's been very consistent.
Yeah, the thing with Hamlin, there's some inconsistent parts. He has more DNFs than Kevin Harvick. Like Indianapolis, that's a good example of a DNF.
Yeah, that was very bad.
Like, it's basically if he doesn't DNF, he's good. It's just the DNFs that hurt him, and Harvick's doesn't DNF a lot. Harvick finishes a lot of races, so it's trying to beat Harvick in finishing a race. Like, Harvick finishes a race, which is really good for Kevin Harvick.
Alrighty. So we're going to hold off on the NASCAR Cup Series conversation because we'll get into the other race that happened at Michigan for the NASCAR Truck Series. So the Truck Series had a race on Friday. Some people want to call it a demolition derby. I don't know what you guys have to say about that. But it sure looked like one with the amount of lap leaders there were in the event. So that was round 11 and 23. Zane Smith for GMS Racing led just the final lap to score his first career win, starting 7th, and now locks himself into the NASCAR Truck Series playoffs.
Yeah.
Finishing second, Christian Eckes, who led the second to last lap, the only lap that Eckes led for the third time in his career, a career best finish. of second. Tanner Gray's career best finish of third. How about that for a former drag racer, starting in the 16th spot, driving for DGR Crosley Racing. Tyler Ankrum finished in the 4th spot, and Todd Gilliland rounded out the top 5. Brett Moffitt, who won stage 1 and led 20 laps from second off the starting grid, finished in 6th, while Rafael Lessard led 4 laps and started 7th to finish started 11th to finish in the 7th spot for his career best finish. Derek Kraus finished 8th. Parker Klickerman 9th after starting 35th for the Henderson team, and David Gravel, dirt track driver for GMS Racing, on his debut, finishes in the top 10. And while those drivers may feel happy, maybe some not others, like maybe Christian Eckes, these drivers were shaking their heads after what could have been. Like Austin Hill led 11 laps, started 5th, finished 12th. Johnny Sauter won stage 2, led 18 laps, finished in the 16th spot. John Hunter Nemechek was on the front row in the final restart. Grandin finger struck right down on his front bumper, forcing him to finish in the 25th spot. Nemechek led 2 laps. Grandin finger, 33rd place, led 38 laps, started 6th. Chandler Smith, who drew pole, led 4 laps, retired, finishing 38th. And last place, devastating retirement for Stuart Friesen, who was involved in one of the early wrecks of the race on the front stretch after starting 21st. You guys think the next few races are going to shake up the Truck Series playoffs? Think again.
I think it will.
Say yes.
I think it's going to shake up the playoffs because you have some road course racers, including Alex Tagliani.
And those road course rings like Alex Tagliani are most likely to be around.
They're going to play interference, all right.
They're definitely going to play interference for sure.
Yeah, because Tagliani's in the 51 truck.
Let's just stay with the Michigan race though. Is Zane Smith a legitimate championship contender for 2020?
That's a very good question. I honestly don't have an answer for it, but I'm gonna say yes.
I mean, if you look at the let's just look at the Truck Series record that Zane Smith has put on in his very brief career. So far, 12 starts, 1 win, 4 top 5s, 8 top 10s, and 132 laps led. His average finish, 10.2. His entire career. Don't be surprised if you're surprised by Zane Smith.
I just tested. It's not me that's echoing.
Yeah, we apologize for echoing. Is it back? It's bad.
No, it's not. So it's probably Austin because he's on mute. So yeah, there's no more echoing.
Yeah.
But going back to Zane Smith, he is the lead driver for GMS Racing.
That's true. He's consistent.
That's
So
strange.
that makes him
He's currently second in the standings
yes.
behind.
He may
Austin.
be a championship threat.
Yeah, if he's really consistent through the playoffs and all that, he will. Because he's performing right now, which is really good.
So we'll get back into the Truck Series. Actually, let's go into the standings real quick. So yeah, Austin Hill still has the championship lead, 33 points ahead of Ben Rhodes. I'm just the playoff standings. I don't have that in hand right now, so I'm just going to go off the points itself. Ben Rhodes minus 33, Zane Smith minus 42, Christian Eckes minus 49. Now Eckes is really putting up good numbers lately. Brett Moffitt been a little up and down the last few weeks, but still in fifth, minus 53 points. Mark Crafton minus 86 in the sixth spot. Sheldon Creed, Derek Krause tied for seventh, minus 88 for both drivers. Grant Enfinger dropped big time after that late race incident on the final restart, putting him ninth in points, minus 92, and 10th in the championship standings is Tyler Ankrum. Remember, this year it's 10 drivers that make up the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah, because 8 was kind of a little, like, too small because of, in the Xfinity, the truck series. 12. The truck series, it's more competitive. It's competitive.
And we saw a lot of drivers verbally unhappy about the short number of seeds from the old playoff format.
Yeah, it was 8. So they decided to go with 10, which is an improvement.
Bubba Wallace fan says, Brett Moffitt hasn't won, so that's insane. Yeah, I'm very surprised.
Yeah.
I actually have him winning the championship this year.
So far, it's weird. It's not saying Moffitt win a race. It's like, what?
Even then, he's still putting up great numbers.
But it didn't help he and Ankrum DNF'd at Kansas. That really didn't help anything.
A lot of drivers had retirements at Kansas.
Well,
all right.
Johnny Sauter, I don't know what's going on with the 13 team, which finishes.
He really tried this past Friday. Did win the stage, just wasn't enough.
It's just he can't finish a race.
Time to retire.
All right, let's go on. So the next race for the Truck Series will be the Daytona Road Course for round 12 of 23. We'll get into that later on the podcast. Now let's move on to the Xfinity Series, which they held a race weekend of their own at Road America for round 18 of what is now a 33-race championship. Austin Cindric led 19 laps in the Penske number 22 Ford from the second spot to score his 6th career win. First at Road America, and he had to hold off some hard charges at the end to get that win. And we seen it all there at Road America. We saw lightning put the race on hold. Wet tires being used.
Yep.
And then a finish in dry conditions.
Back markers in the front of the field at one point.
We had a lot of variety. But in the end, it was Austin Cindric who brought skill to the victory. All right, looking down the list, AJ Allmendinger, who finished second to the car he drove to his first career win with 7 years ago when Allmendinger drove for Penske in the 2013 Nationwide Series, finished second to that car now driven by Austin Cindric. AJ, of course, is in the Colleague Racing number 16 car. He finished second, started 33rd, or drew 33rd at the starting grid, led 9 laps on that effort, and won stage 2. Chase Briscoe, who was one of the championship contenders, finished in 3rd. Kaz Gralla finished 4th after leading 2 laps, started 6th for the second time in his career, a best finish of 4th in his short career, tying the 2018 race at Daytona. In 5th place was Andy Lally. For the second time in Andy Lally's career, a best finish of 5th.
Yep,
Andy Lally led no laps, though. No, I thought he did.
No.
Unfortunate.
Justin, you were saying something?
I was saying that Pardis did lead last. Preston Pardis did.
Yeah, we're going to get that. Let's see who was there. Noah Gragson, 6th place, led 1 lap, started in the 9th spot for Ross Chastain. Didn't lead a lap.
Nope.
Finished in 7th. 8th spot, Preston Pardis led 5 laps, started 37th, finished 8th for his career best finish.
Yep.
Ryan Sieg finished in the 9th spot, and Michael Annett, who drew pole, finished 10th. Now here's some notables. Justin Haley won stage 1, led 3 laps, started 4th, finished in 11th. Alex LeBay led 1 lap, started 21st, finished 15th. Josh Bilicki led 4 laps, started 30th, finished 17th. R.C. Anderson,
Yeah.
former IndyCar driver, makes his stock car debut for a top 20 finish. And Justin Allgaier,
Well,
man,
yeah.
he was close. Led one lap, but had a good car late in the running, was involved in an accident on the restart, or one of the last few restarts, finished 30th, retired after starting 12th.
Yeah, and which Josh Bilicki leading 4 laps was impressive. Seeing that, I'm like people say that small teams can't perform on road courses. They can, because BJ McLeod Motorsports is not a big team, but Bilicki is a road course racer. If people don't know, he's a road course driver. If you see him on a road course, he's going to have a good finish. Because in any car he drives at a road course, he just does good because he's a road course racer.
And they'll be racing at another road course this weekend at the Daytona 24-hour circuit. So that's round 19 of 33. But the standings have changed. Austin Cindric is the points leader now with 11 points over Chase Briscoe. Ross Chastain up to third.
Yep.
Chastain minus 63. Noah Gragson, fourth place, minus 74. Justin Haley's fifth, minus 135. Harrison Burton, sixth,
Yep.
minus 163. Justin Allgaier, still seventh, minus 173. Could have been better.
Yep.
Shows you how one race can make a difference. Michael Annett in eighth, minus 228. Brandon Jones, minus 248 in ninth. And Ryan Sieg with 436 points claimed is 10th. And, of course, the last two spots, as the playoffs are coming pretty soon, Riley Herbst with 424 points, 347. And Brandon Brown is on the cut line. He has claimed 403 points so far this season, scooting further away from Jeremy Clements.
Probably the biggest upset so far.
Yep. Watch Brandon Brown overtake Riley Herbst in the standings. I see it happen. Like, Brandon Brown is in that equipment, and he does good finishes sometimes. Like, sometimes he gets top 10s at tracks that you wouldn't expect him to be in a top 10, which is impressive for his equipment.
It sure is. And, of course, when you have your own equipment or you're in a car that's not as good, you're always going to work twice as hard.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that drivers in better equipment don't work that hard or put the effort.
But
certainly, the passion is there, and he's hanging on that spot. It could obviously change within the next few weeks, looking at the races that are coming up here. But they still have a long way to go, unlike the Cup Series. Daytona, 2 Dover races. The Daytona Road Course, that is, 2 Dover races, the Daytona 250 on the oval, Darlington,
Richmond.
2 Richmond races, and Bristol.
Yeah, their playoffs start at Las Vegas. Yeah, Xfinity playoff starts at Las Vegas. While the truck playoffs, that starts at Bristol.
How many races left for the trucks?
You have, after this, is Daytona Road Course, Dover, Gateway, Darlington, Richmond. So
5 different tracks.
Daytona, Dover, Gateway, Darlington, Richmond. 5 races left.
Don't forget Gateway.
Yeah, I counted Gateway.
Yeah. There's so many different tracks, and these drivers are under pressure. They're under bigger pressure than people think they are. And
also,
you guys will be surprised what happens in the next few races.
And also for Xfinity, to know Dover's a double, not Dover, Richmond's a double header for Xfinity, just to let people know.
Good short track to have 2 races.
Yeah, Richmond will have 2 races for the Xfinity series on Friday and Saturday, which that's going to be interesting.
For sure. But yeah, as for the next race, that will be the Daytona Road Course for round 19 of 33. Stay tuned for later. We'll get into those predictions, obviously. Now let's move on to Formula One. for the 70th anniversary Grand Prix at Silverstone. This race was sure interesting, just like the British Grand Prix was last week. But I'll tell you, Max Verstappen made a huge statement. Max Verstappen led 29 laps from 4th for his 9th career win, 35th career podium, and the first win outside of a Mercedes Formula One car this season.
Yep.
In second was Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton made history with that second place finish. Let's also get in the race first of all. His fastest lap, started second, led 10 laps. Everyone seemed to be on different strategies, but Hamilton finished second. But history was made with his 155th career podium, now ties Michael Schumacher for most of all time.
Yeah, he's showing his records right now. He's showing that he's going to be really good in Formula One.
And in third was Valtteri Bottas, led 13 laps
on the pole.
His 13th career pole and his 49th career podium.
Yep.
All right, let's look down the points. Finishers. Charles Leclerc finished 4th, started 8th. Alex Albon, 5th place, started in 9th. Lance Stroll for the Racing Point. We're going to get into Racing Point a little bit here. Started 6th, finished 6th. Nico Hulkenberg, who started in 3rd. Very, very impressive run in qualifying. Finished in the 7th spot, scoring points, double points for Racing Point.
Yep.
And I have the question for everyone to talk about there. There you go. Let's go. All right. Esteban Ocon finished in the 8th spot. Lando Norris, 9th, and Danny Kvyat finished 10th. Getting the last points paying position. Outside points, Pierre Gasly, 11th, so no double points for AlphaTauri. Sebastian Vettel had a struggle with 12th. Carlos Sainz, 13th. Daniel Ricciardo started 5th. Just never really had the best car
and also
in the later stage of the race.
Well, he had to pit late, and he couldn't recover from his pit stop. That's the thing. He pitted later, and he couldn't close to get points.
Kimi Räikkönen still without points in 2020.
Oh, jeez.
15th. 16th. Romain Grosjean, 17th, and Tony Giovinazzi, so no points at all for the
Alfa Romeo.
And George Russell, who started 15th, made it Q2. Finished 18th over teammate Nicholas Latifi at 19th. And the only retirement was Kevin Magnussen with a tire vibration on lap 43.
I just don't get why Kevin Magnussen's just... I don't know what is it with Grosjean finishing races and Magnussen's the one retiring. This is weird. 2020 is weird.
It has been weird the whole time.
But last year, Grosjean was the one retiring. Now it's Magnussen. What, are they taking turns now of who's retiring each year?
There's one thing we know. They only have a single point from Kevin Magnussen.
Well.
And Hungary.
Well, if everybody DNFs somehow, if people DNF, Grosjean might get points.
You can't depend on a 2020 Austrian Grand Prix or a 2019 German Grand Prix or a 1996 Monaco Grand Prix to get yourself points. That's the reality. No one's going to retire like that each and every day. You got to get the points yourselves. And maybe it's time for a driver change.
No, it's just the car is shit. The car's bad. Like, the Haas is so bad. Well, all the Ferrari engines are bad. But
I
like
think
the
Romain Grosjean is kind of getting rusty in that.
but Grosjean still has more podiums than Magnussen. Grosjean did drive.
When has Grosjean been on the podium? It's like it feels like ages.
Well, that was for Lotus, but when Kevin Magnussen only has one podium with McLaren. That's his only podium.
That really shouldn't have been his because of a post-race penalty. Speaking of penalties, if you've been hiding under a rock, then you have no idea that Racing Point would have had 56 points and been third in the World Constructors Championship. But they got the ban hammer, not the ban hammer, the points hammer by the FIA stewards due to another protest, which this time is not successful. By Renault. There we go, Justin. I'm trying to say is like, you want to call that car a pink Mercedes, or you want to call it fast?
Well, the thing is, I don't know why Renault's protesting it now, even if it's not against the rules. It's actually not. I actually read the rules in the FIA, and they think it is, which don't know what. It's just Renault could just stop protesting everything. Like, focus on your race team, not protesting other cars.
What's funny is that same organization, pulled the biggest move of stupidity back in 2008. So I wouldn't even be talking right now. And
What's
you know what?
next?
They got two good drivers. They have two good drivers anyways. So maybe they should just let the track do the talking instead of...
Well, what's next? Protesting McLaren because they're faster?
Renault should be...
But Renault's
McLaren is running Renault engines. We're talking about the Renault factory team here.
Yeah, but what happens if they say, McLaren's faster than us and they have the same engines? Oh, we're going to protest.
McLaren is already having their exit path because they are moving to Mercedes.
Yep, the Mercedes engines, which...
Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes... If you don't know, Mercedes engines are fast, but not slow. If you never knew how fast Mercedes engines go, you got to just ask Lewis Hamilton.
Yes, Hamilton won their first championship, of course, back in 2008. Driving Mercedes, obviously, times have changed. Let's go into the points, Justin. As you just want to do nothing but debate everything I say about McLaren and Mercedes.
I was just saying he would have lost the championship if he didn't pass Timo Glock. Yeah.
All right, so the World Drivers' Championship looks like this. Lewis Hamilton is up front with 30 points actually over Max Verstappen. Max, that win boosting him up levels now. 77 points claimed for the Dutchman in second. Valtteri Bottas made up lost ground after not scoring points at all at that late heartbreaking puncture at the British Grand Prix. Now moves himself back up to third with 73 points claimed so far. Extends that margin over Charles Leclerc, who has 45 points in the World Drivers' Championship. Lando Norris is fifth with 38 points, just 2 points over Red Bull driver Alexander Albon with 36 points. Lance Stroll is seventh in points with 28. And, of course, Sergio Perez, who's been absent for the last two races due to testing positive for the COVID-19 virus. Perez has 22 points still. Every points finish for Perez this season, or every finish has been a points finish for Perez, and the same except for the Austrian Grand Prix for Lance Stroll. Daniel Ricciardo in 9th with 20 points so far. Esteban Ocon in 10th, just 4 points behind his teammate. So looking down the list, Carlos Sainz, 15 points claimed so far. Pierre Gasly, after the 70th anniversary Grand Prix, missed out on points, so he stays at 12. Sebastian Vettel, his second non-points finish of the season. So still 13th in the World Drivers' Championship. Nico Hulkenberg, of course, who is just a fill-in driver, is 14th in points with 6 points claimed so far.
Yep.
Antonio Giovinazzi, of course, the only points from Alfa Romeo the entire season after the 70th anniversary Grand Prix is 15th with 2 points claimed. And Danny Kvyat scored 1 point. Of course, when you tend to get 1 point for both the Styrian Grand Prix and the 70th anniversary Grand Prix. I guess the second race at a track helps him get 1 point so far. He could do better. Only time will tell. And then Kevin Magnussen is the only driver for
1 point.
Haas F1 to get a point. So there's still 4 drivers on points. Kimi Räikkönen, the 2007 world champion, Nicholas Latifi, George Russell, and Roman Grosjean.
And Roman Grosjean's not 20th; he's 21st because Hulkenberg. So, and which people are wondering, when is Haas going to get a new driver lineup? Well, there's drivers out there that look like they're going to take their seats. We'll see.
We'll have to see.
Yep. Because there is test drivers that are really performing the feeder series right now.
And the more times they knock on the door, the louder it's going to get. And I think it's time for possibly some new drivers in that Haas team. But let's look at the World Constructors' Championship, because we did mention Racing Point getting hit with that. But it's still Mercedes with 180 points in the World Constructors' Championship. And I'll give you a fun fact. They've had double points races every race except for the British Grand Prix because of Valtteri Bottas just missing out after blowing that tire the pits.
Yep. But the Mercedes is still performing.
Oh, by far. Red Bull Racing, Honda, of course, second with 113 points, but it's very far compared to Mercedes. Except for the double non-points finish at the Austrian Grand Prix. Red Bull has scored double points finishes every race this year. So that's some good numbers. In fact, I just noticed, except for Verstappen's retirement in the opening race, he's finished on the podium in every event.
Yep.
Hamilton's had a perfect...
yeah.
No, he hasn't. I forgot about the penalty in Austria.
Well, he got fourth. Well, he got 1 4th place. Other than that, it's been podium, wins, and a 4th place. So his record is still good. He doesn't have.
Back in third.
Oh, jeez.
Over half the amount of points that Red Bull has is Ferrari.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Ferrari's somehow in third.
McLaren is fourth with 53 points, just 2 points behind Ferrari, and of course Racing Point, who this time they have been axed for illegal brake ducts, a 300,000 pound fine, and loss in championship points. They would have had 56 points in third in the World Constructors' Championship, but now they're fifth with 41 points. So the Stewards really came down hard on.
Whoa. I got to search this up.
On the Racing Point BWT Mercedes brand.
Wait, this is not true. What?
It's not true.
What? People say the brake ducts are different?
Yes, that's correct. That was Renault's claim this time, and they won.
I'm looking at I'm looking at the brakes. It's the same as the Mercedes brakes. How is that illegal?
In Renault's case, how is that legal?
Well, it is. You're allowed to do that. I've seen the rule book. I don't know what rule book Renault's reading. The one from 1995 or something?
All right, let's just go down the list. Of course, Renault, they're now less than 10 points from Racing Point. Of course, well, in their case, they have 36 points in the World Constructors' Championship. AlphaTauri with 14 points so far. They are still struggling to get they have not gotten a double points finish this year. But they really need to get a few under the bag to maybe hop up to Renault's level in the World Constructors' Championship. Alfa Romeo Racing Ferrari, of course, just Antonio Giovinazzi at the season-opening Austrian Grand Prix with 2 points claimed so far. Haas, just 1 point off the hands of Kevin Magnussen at Hungary. And, of course, Williams with no points at all.
0. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, Mercedes is fast and not Mercedes. Williams is fast and qualifying, but the race is different.
You
it's
mean
like
George Russell's fast and qualifying?
Hey, Latifi's not the worst. He's not. He's not Robert Kubica slow. Kubica was slow last year. He was worse than Latifi in qualifying. Like Robert Kubica was so
just
slow.
waiting for Latifi to come in. I think test driving for Renault now.
But there's so many drivers that are like slow, but some of them are embarrassing slow. Some races, people are so embarrassing that they're so slow off the pace. Like people never.
Back in the Eddie Jordan test he had.
Well, it's like there was worse when footwork. Well, if people don't know the worst F1 team, people say Haas is the worst F1 team. It's not. The worst F1 team was MasterCard Lola. They were the worst F1 team ever.
Or how about HRT F1?
They made more races.
Well, they really were told not to race in the opening round of 2012.
Joseph, the thing about MasterCard Lola, they missed the first race of the season. They were 6 seconds off the 107% time. They were 11 seconds slower than Jacques Villeneuve in the Williams in 1997. Yeah, they were really slow.
All right, so let's move on to the standings. Of course, they'll be back next week for the Spanish Grand Prix at Barcelona, Catalunya for round 6 of 13. Now, let's get into some Formula 2. We had the second Silverstone round for week 5 of what is currently a 10-week World Championship for the FIA Formula 2 Championship. And the feature race, of course, top 10 get points, was won by pole sitter Callum Ilott.
Yep.
Who is now the points leader. We'll get into that a little bit later. Is really climbing the ladder and and won the home track. Christian Lundgaard, the Danish driver, finished in second. Jack Eichen in third. Nikita Mazepin in fourth. Louis Deltraz fifth. Yuki Tsunoda, we'll get him a little bit later, in sixth. Mick Schumacher seventh. Robert Schwartzman, who entered this race as the points leader. Guanyu Zhou scored the fastest lap in ninth. And Filip Drugovich in the 10th spot. So, of course, the top 8 were reversed for the start of the sprint race. And the sprint race was a thriller. Yuki Tsunoda took the lead by storm. And that pretty much was the end result of when Mick Schumacher last lap and Robert Schwartzman made contact in the last few races, putting the young Japanese driver in a spot to win the sprint race. Of course, 8 drivers get points from the sprint event. So Tsunoda scored the win. Mick Schumacher still finished in second, not without a few angry drivers from the Schwartzman camp. Jack Eichen, 2/3 this weekend. Louis Deltraz fourth. Guanyu Zhou in fifth. Callum Ilott in sixth. Great weekend for him. Dan Ticktum in seventh. Now, Ticktum had some controversy in the feature race. Nikita Mazepin finished eighth. So the points look like this. Callum Ilott with 106 points. Christian Lundgaard with 87 points. Robert Schwartzman with 85 points at third. Nikita Mazepin fourth and with 71 points. And Louis Deltraz fifth with 64 points. The team's championship looks like this. UNI Virtuosi Racing with 167 points so far. Prema Racing with 146 points. Art Grand Prix third with 121 points. High Tech Grand Prix fourth with 98 points. And Carlin is fifth with 80 points. Their next race will be at Spain for week 6 of 10.
Hey, Joseph, did you see what I put in the private chat? Drugovich better than Lord Mojave, which is true.
Yeah, hey, Bubba Wallace fan, I see your question there. Dang, I wonder why Americans don't race F1. Well, the thing is that Formula One isn't as appealing to race car drivers in America as other motorsports are. Oh, yeah, let me add in Herbert Solomon. Herbert Solomon, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
I'm good.
I was here a while back. I haven't been on since, man.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We're still in the F2 discussion. But there was an incident in the feature race at Silverstone involving Dan Ticktum.
Yep.
Who's the other driver involved, Justin?
Let me.
I think it was the driver in front.
Like,
It was
to answer
Delatraz.
Bubba's question.
Looking through.
Haas Formula One junior driver Louis Delatraz battling for position. I'm going to read the quote that was given on the radio, which surfaced, and Ticktum said this: "Next time that 4-letter censored word,
Oh, jeez.
kamikaze move like that, I'm going to take of course motorsport.com wants to be uncompliant. I'm going to take myself out with him." He said something like that.
Oh, wow.
Dan Ticktum this is not the first time that he's been in the face of controversy
Oh, wow.
in his
Marcos.
motorsports career. Despite winning 3 Macau Grand Prix and showing a lot of talent, he was booted from the Red Bull Junior camp.
Well, that's because Helmut Marko is not the best person.
Well, listen,
Wow,
Dan
Marco
Ticktum is a
Wow.
young driver.
Yeah, with a team that's bad.
Either you have a good rapport with the other drivers on the racetrack, or you're in for some hell.
It's just like
People
thing
don't
like-
get along with someone.
yeah, but like the thing about
I'm not
it,
trying to take anything away from Dan Ticktum here.
but like it's just the team
He's a great
doesn't
driver.
help. Yeah, but it's also like he doesn't like usually the team is usually you see Doms running up front. They're not doing that. Dan Ticktum's decent. Sean Galale, I don't know what he's doing.
Galeo's a decent driver too. I mean, he's still trying to get his feet wet in Formula 2.
But like last year, he did good for Prema. This year, he's not doing like Sergio Sete Camara did, or
But listen to this though. Listen, he's entering. He's still raced. Should be even lucky that their team's giving him a chance after what happened in 2015, getting a 2-year ban from motorsport
Well,
from an incident, ironically, at Silverstone.
that was
When
just
when he purposely took out a driver under a safety car condition, that driver being Ricky Clark. Now, you can't debate this.
yeah, but
Either
it's
you
like
make it or you break it. You're a young driver, and you only have one reputation.
yeah.
Make it however you want it to be, or however it appears to be.
Like, the thing about it, when he was last booted from the junior camp last year, there was a thing that it was not Ticktum's fault last year. That was Helmut Marko, because people say he doesn't have a good attitude, like Helmut Marko, which is a true fact.
You
Like,
can't compare
the
another
thing is-
driver to someone with already
No.
a bad resume.
Well, yeah, but the thing about him, like, he just boots drivers for no reason sometimes. That's the thing about Red Bull Racing. They don't care.
But you
But
know
the
what? He's in Williams now, and Williams,
Yeah.
they want to cultivate Dan Ticktum. But
It's
if he
just
can
like-
hold up his end of the bargain with
It's like,
what happening on and off the racetrack, and especially during a race with radio communication, to say something that threatening, I'd be damned if a F1 team like, Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari, or even McLaren now would want to put someone in their car.
But I'm just looking through this. Also, he's probably just frustrated how the team's performing. They're not performing good, which is a true fact.
It was a sprint race, I think, last week.
Yeah, but right now, Sean Galeo, that's the thing. The whole team,
Stop trying to take this to another direction here, dude.
But
I want to see Tictum succeed in.
Yeah, but he's frustrated that the team's
out of the bargain.
Yeah, but he's doing good. He's also mad that the team's not performing. Sean Galeo's not performing. They're 7th in the team's championship. They were 2nd last year. That's the thing.
Like I said, I think everyone deserves a second chance, but the least they could do is learn from their mistakes, just move on, and hope for the best and become a better version of themselves on and off the racetrack. I'm still a believer in Dan Ticktum. He is a very talented driver, but he's got to make sure he properly manages that while in good and bad situations. And that's just how motorsports works. But I think we're going to see a lot more from him in the future. But that was certainly a moment a lot of people, unfortunately, were not surprised about. We'll see what happens later. Their next race, of course, will be 6 of 10. But quickly, what was the incident with the Schumacher and Robert Schwartzman?
I think I really don't know. I know there was some contact. I think that spun Schwartzman. Schwartzman got spun while battling for the lead. That's how Yuki Tsunoda took that lead and pulled away and stuff. It's which that didn't help Schwartzman in points. But basically ended him losing his points.
Yeah, and that's going to set him back a little bit. But it's not over. There's still a long way to go in the Formula 2 championship. So I think Schwartzman should have the ability to get the points lead back. We'll just have to see what happens in Barcelona.
Hopefully Doms improves this season. Hopefully. They're just running decent and bad. It's
All right, let's move into some sports car action. We're going to get into the European Le Mans Series for round 2 of 5, the 4 hours of Spa, which is pretty much the biggest preview that we'll have for this weekend's FIA World Endurance Championship return to action for this weekend's 6-hour race. So in first place for the LMP2 class was the number 22 car. They won overall. United Autosport, Philip Hansen and Philippe Albuquerque took the victory for that class over the number 39 Graf, the number 31 Pani Racing, number 30 Duquesne team, and the number 32 United Autosport. Great weekend for Zach Brown and the guys from United Autosport because they also won an LMP3 for the number 2 car over the number 7 Nielsen Racing, the number 11 Euro International, the number 9 Graf, and the number 3 United Autosport. So that's your top 5 in LMP3. In LMGTE, which a lot of these teams you're going to see from all the classes this weekend, from this past weekend, again on Sunday.
Saturday,
whoops.
Yeah.
The LMGTE class, number 74 Kessel Racing Ferrari took the win over the number 88 AF Corsa Ferrari. The number 98 Aston Martin Racing finished in third. The number 93 Proton Competition Porsche And the number 55, Spirit of Race Ferrari, finished 5th, rounding out the top 5 in the 4 hours of Spa. As for the ELMS, they will return on August 29th for the 4 hours of Le Castellet at Circuit Paul Richard in France, just like the season opener, but it's going to happen once again, replacing Silverstone's last date on August 29th for round 3 of 5. And I think that United Autosport has a lot to look forward to. 24 hours of Le Mans in sight, just a month and a half from now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they've been turning a lot of heads this year. It will continue. So there's that with the ELMS. Let me see if they update standings here for 2020. I know the only 2 races are complete. Oh, yeah. There they are. So, yeah, the number 22 United Autosport leads the number 32 United Autosports in only 2 points, 42 points for the number 22, 35 points for the number 32. Number 39 Graf is third with 20 points, while the number 26 G-Drive Racing, who suffered a retirement on Sunday, 18 points, tied with the number 50 Richard Mille Racing Team, the highest Alpine in the standings, actually the only one. So, yeah, Araris is fourth. Yeah. So chassis, you have Oreca's top 3, Araris with the G-Drive, and Alpine with the Richard Mille Racing Team, number 50. There is a Ligier down there, which was a number 34 Inter-Europol competition as well. As for the LMP3 championship standings, it is all United Autosport, number 2, with 52 points, sweeping both Le Castellet and Spa-Francorchamps. They have an extensive record. Yeah, I really want to see if Robbie can make it.
I don't know.
I shot him another text just to see if there's still any luck with him, Robbie coming this week. If not, we can always bring him next week for the race preview. But obviously this weekend for the Indy 500, we'll be talking about qualifying later on in this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, LMGTE points is the number 74 Kessel Racing over the number 77 Proton competition and the 93, but they seem to be very far apart within each of them. And the points of the number 83 Iron Lynx Ferrari and the number 51 AF Corsa is in 5th. But a lot of these guys are going to be back this weekend for the WEC when we go into race previews. We'll get into that. All right, Formula E. Time for a discussion about Formula E, guys. We've had 4 races in the past week. For their return to action, their plan is to simply just finish the season. For the 2019-2020 Formula E Championship, it has been clinched by Antonio Felix da Costa.
Yeah, people say I don't like people clinching the championship. Well, Antonio Felix da Costa is showing his talent right now. Like he was so Antonio Felix da Costa was so fast this season. He was so good and consistent, which he's showing his potential right now.
Right. So let's get into race 1. The drivers who finish points, of course, in Formula E, you get points for finishing in the top 10, just like Formula 1. But there are extra point incentives, just like getting the pole position, fastest lap, and the group stage. You get extra points.
Yeah.
For achieving those. Antonio Felix da Costa won race 1 of the Berlin Grand Prix. Now, part 1 was race 1 and race 2 at Berlin at the airport circuit. the track goes in the forward direction, and then the track is in the backward direction for race 3 and race 4. So race 1, Antonio Felix da Costa scored extra points by winning the pole position, fastest in group stage, and getting the fastest lap, which pretty much fueled the rocket ship to his championship for Diaz Techeetah. Andre Lauderer finished in second, Sam Bird third, Nick DeVries fourth, Jerome D'Ambrosio, who won the first ever running of the Berlin E-Prix, finished fifth. Stoffel Van Dorn finished in sixth behind his Belgian competitor. Sebastian Buemi, the Swiss driver for Nissan E-Dom, finished in seventh. Lucas de Grassi, the Audi driver for eighth, finished from Brazil, finished eighth. Alexander Sims for BMW Andretti in ninth, and Rene Arrest rounds out the points finishers in 10th for Audi. Then in race 2, it looked like this. Antonio Felix da Costa won once again. It's his third race in a row in the season, if you include the Marrakesh Grand Prix, the last race before the pandemic put a stop to action. And he took the win once again, getting extra points, 3 points for winning pole position over Sebastian Buemi, who got an extra point for his speed in the group stage. Lucas de Grassi finished in third. Robin Fringe finished fourth. Stoffel Van Dorn fifth for Van Dorn, and the fastest lap point goes to the Belgian Mercedes driver as well. Sam Bird in sixth, Oliver Rollin in seventh, Eduardo Mortara eighth, Andre Lauderer in ninth, and Jean-Eric Verne managed to get that extra point in 10th. Race 3, which was the first race for part 2, meaning that the track was using the reverse layout. The Berlin Airport circuit was won in a crazy race to the finish. Max Gunther holding off Robin Fringe for the win in a feisty battle in the last 3 laps of the race. Finishing third was Jean-Eric Verne, who scored some valuable extra 4 points. Jean-Eric Verne, pole position and group stage, which means you get plus 4 points added to 15 points in the race. Valuable for Diaz Techeetah to get that in the team's championship. Fourth place, Antonio Felix da Costa, just behind teammate Jean-Eric Verne. Andre Lauderer, the Porsche driver, in fifth. Oliver Rollin in sixth for Nissan E-Doms in sixth. Jerome D'Ambrosio in seventh. Lucas de Grassi, eighth. Mitch Evans in the Jaguar for ninth. Now, Mitch Evans did get the fastest lap, so he has an extra point. And Alexander Sims, 10th for BMW Andretti. Now, race 4, part 2, race 2. Jean-Eric Verne scored a monumental win, getting extra points from the group stage and pole position ahead of teammate Antonio Felix da Costa, who clinched the championship, the driver's championship, by finishing second, getting the fastest lap. And with that, Diaz Techeetah, the Chinese team in Formula E, scored the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, they clinched it also. So, but it's not the final points because there's still 2 races left. But they clinched it, so no other team could get it, and nobody could catch Antonio Felix da Costa, which people are mad about it, about him clinching the championship.
They just didn't know how fast he was going to be. I thought, maybe we won 1 or 2 races. That's enough because, Formula E, you have a variety of drivers coming and going from the front.
But him, wow, he was good this season.
This whole year. Sebastian Buemi rounded out the podium in third. Nick DeVries, fourth. Oliver Rollin in fifth. Lucas de Grassi, 6th. Mitch Evans, 7th. Andre Lauderer in 8th. Alex Lynn in 9th. And Felipe Massa in 10th for Venturi Mercedes.
Yeah.
And after those last 4 races were complete, now that there are 2 races remaining,
Yeah.
Antonio Felix Acosta is 156 points claimed, enough to win or clinch the season drivers championship over Jean-Eric Vergne with 80 points in second. Lucas Degrassi third, Max Gunter in fourth, tied third and fourth each. Degrassi and Gunter, and Sebastian Buemi is in fifth. As for the team's championship, Diaz Techeetah clinched the team's championship with 236 points over Nissan E-Doms and 121 points in second. BMW i Andretti Motorsport with 118 points is third, while Mercedes-Benz EQ Formula E team sits fourth with 99 points. And Virgin Racing is fifth. The British team has 92 points claimed. So there are still, positions to be fighting for in these last 2 races this upcoming week.
Yep, 2 more races left.
Yep, and those are rounds 10 and 11 of 11. The final 2 races of the 2019-2020 FIA ABB Formula E World Championship. Now, with that said, here are some of the other races that we had going on this past weekend. So we'll just get into ARCA, the ARCA West Series, Formula 3, and MotoGP. Now, as for the ARCA Series, the main ARCA National Menard Series, they had the Michigan 200, round 11 of 17. Riley Herbst led 39 laps in his Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota to win over Brett Holmes, who led 61 laps. Michael Self finished third, Drew Dollar fourth, and Anthony Alfredo rounded out the top 5. Michael Self has a 4-point lead. Brett Holmes really closed in after this last race. So Michael Self with 544 points over Brett Holmes with 540 points. Drew Dollar with 503 points has some catching up to do in third, just like Haley Deegan does, in fourth with 497 points, and Tad Moffin back in fifth, almost 100 points behind, about 90 they're at 466 points. Their next race will be the Daytona Road Course for round 12.
4 races there. 4, you know what I mean? 4 races there at the road course. That's going to be one busy weekend starting Friday.
Yeah,
that's right. And as for the ARCA West Series, their Pacific Northwest Tour, rounds 5 and 6 of 10. So race 1 was the Evergreen 100, and race 2 was the Douglas County 150. The Evergreen race was won in perfect fashion. Blaine Perkins led all 100 laps over Huddleston, his teammate, and then 3 drivers from Bill McAnally's camp, Gio Seltzy, Jesse Love, and Gracie Trotter. How Douglas County looked a little bit different. We had some contact. Well, Jesse Love did manage to lead 15 laps and run into some trouble. He did finish
Joseph. Jesse Love did not lead laps. Scalzi led 15 laps.
Yeah. Oh, whoops.
Love did not lead laps at all.
You're fired.
All right, so Blaine Perkins led 35 laps to sweep the weekend over Gracie Trotter, Jesse Love, Gio Scalzi, and Trevor Huddleston. So the points look like this. With 263 points, just 1 point over Blaine Perkins is Jesse Love.
Yeah.
Blaine Perkins second with 232 points back, and further back is Gracie Trotter third with 236 points. Trevor Huddleston fourth with 233, and Gio Scalzi fifth place.
Scalzi, yeah.
Points.
Yeah, those 2 races were different on the West Coast. 1 point.
Yep.
This should be interesting as second half starts.
Yes.
Yep.
Round 7 to 10 will be on August 22nd. So
CNX,
they get a little
National Speedway.
Yes, in Erie, Colorado. All right, let's get into F3. We had
2 races this weekend.
Yes, 2 races in Formula 3. Logan Sargent from Boca Raton, Florida, is making a name for himself, winning for the first time in race 1 for Prema Racing, and Brent Viscal. Brent P Motorsport won race 2.
That's I didn't expect Ben Viscal to win race 1. I thought it was going to be Richard Verschoor, but Richard Verschoor did not have a good weekend with his MP car.
No, and he dropped to 7th in points.
Yep.
And with that said, Logan Sargent is in the points lead, just 1 point over Oscar Piastri.
His
David
teammate
is 3rd, so far back at 82.5 points. Liam Lawson is 4th with 77 points, and Frederick Vesti is 5th with 70.5 points.
Yep.
As for the team's championship, it is Prema Racing. They are on a roll with 281.5 points over Trident with 132.5 points. Art Grand Prix, 114 points. High Tech Grand Prix with 96 points. And MP Motorsport with 83 points earned. They will be back for week 6 of 9 at Barcelona for a companion event to the Spanish Grand Prix.
Yep.
As for the last race we're going to get into, MotoGP. As everyone knows, Marc Marquez crashed on the opening round in the Spanish Grand Prix at the circuit of Jerez.
Yep.
The Spanish rider needed surgery, and he has missed the last 2 races. While Fabio Quartararo, the French rider for Petronas Yamaha SRT, scored the first 2 wins, we saw an upset at the Czech Grand Prix in Brno, Czech Republic. I tell you, no one thought Brad Binder, the South African rider for Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, just 24 years of age, would be on the top step of the podium on that one.
Brad Binder. Wow.
Yeah, and Brad Binder scored his first win. I'm still in loss of words. But he won for, I know I'm a little unfamiliar with MotoGP, and
yeah, it's like
he won over Franco Morbidelli, Johan Zarco in 3rd, Alex Rins, and Valentino Rossi. Valentino Rossi showing he still has something left in his career. As for the World Riders Championship, it is Fabio Quartararo, 59 points over Maverick Vinales with 42 points. Franco Morbidelli in 3rd, 31 points, tied with countrymate Andrea Dovizioso, 31 points. Brad Binder jumped up to 5th in points. He's tied with Johan Zarco. Johan Zarco, the Ducati rider.
What the? Okay. I was just figuring out who Franco Morbidelli is. I just figured out he's son of former Italian F1 driver Gianni Morbidelli. I didn't even know that.
As for the constructor standings, it is Petronas Yamaha SRT with 31 points over Monster Energy Yamaha MotoGP team in 2nd. Red Bull Factory KTM. Red Bull KTM Factory Racing is 3rd with 47 points claimed so far. 4th is Mission Renault Ducati team, 42 points, and Espan Sorama Racing is 5th with 35 points claimed so far. As for the manufacturer standings, it is all Yamaha, 70 points claimed, as KTM sits with 44 points earned. And third, Ducati with 42 points. Fourth, Honda with 27. Fifth is Suzuki with 24 points. And Aprilia is sixth with 11 points. They will be back this weekend for the Austrian Grand Prix. In fact, the next 2 weekends, Austria and then Styria at the Red Bull Ring.
Yep.
All right, let's get into some race previews now. I think this is where the discussion gets exciting.
With the
NASCAR Cup Series, Daytona Road Course, round 23, 36.
Go Bowling 235.
Yes, what's the name of Go Bowling 235?
Yep. Yep.
Hashtag bowling lanes are closed.
Well, the Xfinity Series, it's the UNOH 188. 188, so Dale Jr. 1 plus Dale Jr. And then the trucks is the Sunoco 159.
Yeah, so for the Xfinity Series, I'll be round 19 of 33. Trucks, round 12 of 23.
Yep.
Formula One, the Spanish Grand Prix this weekend for round 6 of 13. And F2, Spain for week 6 of 10. Formula E will wrap up the 2019-2020 World Championship with the part 3 of the Berlin E Prix for rounds 10 and 11 of 11. Supercars, this time they're going to try it again for the Darwin Triple Crown week 5 of 13 and rounds 13, 14, and 15 of 33. And before IndyCar sports cars, the FIA World Endurance Championship is back for the first time since the pandemic halted action after the 6 hours of Coda. Now it's 6 hours of Spa for round 6 of 8. And IndyCar, the grandest race of the year, the Indianapolis 500 qualifying rounds will be taking place this weekend for the Indy 500, which is round 7 of 12. All right, so as all 3 series are in their inaugural races at the Daytona Road Course, we don't have any stats to go back upon.
That's it, because they're not at the oval. They're racing at parts of the oval, but they're not racing the oval. So no, they're not going to go bump drafting. If they start bump drafting on the road course section, that's going to be bad in the braking zones.
All right, so let's start with the Cup Series now.
Oh, jeez.
These drivers are coming in cold. No practice, no qualifying, no session. In fact, NASCAR's not even allowing you to race multiple events in a weekend.
Yeah, it's just,
They are making sure everyone has an even playing field of coming onto this racetrack cold and uncertain.
Well,
it really has turned into the Hunger Games.
Well, people have been playing it on iRacing because iRacing did add that final chicane. You could use that. The only thing you could do is test on iRacing. That's the only thing drivers can do. But the Daytona Road Course, hopefully they don't be aggressive in turn 1 on lap 1, because it's going to be heavy braking in the turn 1. They're not continuing on the track. They have to turn left after pit road, because they're not continuing on the oval. So
that is true.
Hopefully it's not like the first oval race on that restart.
Here's the thing.
You know what happened.
A lot of these drivers are actually excited to race at the Daytona Road Course, but many of them are fearing this event with good reason.
No practice.
The thing about this, it's just one thing. It's just these drivers, they don't want to be way too aggressive and causing crashes. Because I don't want a race to be a wreck fest. I don't want races to be under yellow for most of the race.
Here's the thing. Expect that to happen. Expect the unexpected.
Well, this race is only a 65-lap race for the Cup Series because it's 3-mile track, 3.56 miles. So that's why it's only a 65-lap event, because it's a bigger track, bigger road course than Watkins Glen and Sonoma. So the thing about it is just they have to be careful in the braking zones, especially the chicanes. The chicanes, they'll have to be good through the chicanes to not crash through there. Because basically, drivers are going in this with no practice, so we don't even. If you pick somebody that's really good this season, we don't know how they're gonna do at the Daytona Road Course. So,
By the way, breaking news. This was actually earlier today. MotoGP will hold their season finale in Portimao, Portugal.
Huh. That's interesting.
It's like the track where F1's going to hold their first ever Portuguese Grand Prix, or not Portuguese Grand Prix, but the first ever race at Portimao. All right, we were going to Daytona. We're still here in the Daytona discussion. There are 4 races remaining in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Each track, Daytona, 2 Dover races, and the Daytona 400 are going to feature the biggest unknowns of the 2020 season. I think it'll be crazier than the playoffs itself. Let's just revert to the best road course Cup Series regulars out there. The best drivers, whether they've proven themselves in a Cup car on a road course or somewhere else.
Whoa.
Where would they have the best chance to win, or who will have the best chance to win? And just looking at the entries, because I know nothing really changed for Daytona.
Well, Brennan Gaughan's added on the entry list in the 62. And Greg Galding's in the 53 car.
Just looking along. All right, but I'm talking about like drivers who are trying to get into a spot in the playoffs. Christopher Bell won a race at Road America last year.
Yeah.
Tyler Reddick.
It's not the best.
What about Cole Custer?
Well,
Custer's driven GT4s for the Ford team.
Yeah, but that's the thing is the cars are different. It's just like
Cole Custer has Trans Am experience.
Yeah, but the thing is a stock car at Daytona Road Course. That's
Sean Hunter Nemechek.
Well,
whether you guys like it or not, he is a winner in the Truck Series at a road course.
Yeah, but that truck's different and Canadian tires.
We're talking about road courses, not the cars.
But it's just
not even Jimmy Johnson, not Kevin Harvick, not Ryan Newman. Nobody is safe.
No, like nobody
is going to win after these 65 treacherous laps.
I'm just trying to think of a driver that's not a stupid prediction.
But Walls fan, how do F1 points work? Only the top 10 get points at the end of an F1 World Championship race. I have my Daytona prediction right here. And I think this driver is going to shock the NASCAR world, but he's going to get his first win.
Oh, no.
Cup Series. This driver had a brief career in IndyCar racing, which was then called the Champ Car World Series. He drives a Ford that is subpar, but there are much better Fords out there on a weekly basis. That would be Michael McDowell. He will win at the Daytona Road Course. He's going to bust the playoffs and just shock everyone. This is going to be a monumental win for the driver, the number 34.
Michael McDowell?
Michael McDowell.
Okay, you said Champ Car. I thought you were going with J.J. Yaley at first. When I heard Champ Car, I'm like, what?
J.J. Yaley ran in the IRL.
Well, but he's driving for Rick Ware, so Rick Ware, we know they're out of the picture. Okay.
Tyler Reddick. Sorry.
That's interesting.
Why do you think Tyler Reddick's going to win, Austin?
Just a gut feeling and I said this word earlier. It's not a bad word. Intuition on how I feel. Just road courses in general. I mean, he may not be meh about it, but I had a weird feeling that he's going to do well.
Okay, my pick. This driver has never won a Cup Series event, but he has a best career finish of second. This driver, he drives for the legendary team, the Wood Brothers Racing Team. Matt DiBenedetto is going to win at the Daytona Road Course. Yep. My pick is Matt DiBenedetto in the number 21 car.
Now, why Matt DiBenedetto?
I feel like Matt DiBenedetto is decent on road courses. He's gotten 4th, 6th. He's gone top 10s at road courses. And he's consistent this season. Like, there's some races are bad, but he's solid in the points right now.
He needs to do well at Daytona.
And also, he's a good road course racer. I've seen him at road courses, and his performance is good on those tracks, which I feel he could bring that experience to Daytona and have a fast car and charge to the field and get a win.
But what about some other drivers? Let's just name a few others. What about Chase Elliott, who won the last 2 races at Watkins Glen? Obviously, we're not going to be there this year. And the Charlotte Roval, don't forget about that one too. What about a driver like Chris Buescher, who scored his first win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Mid-Ohio, who was not a factor at all when the race began? Someone in the picture like Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch.
Like, there's some of these drivers that are good, but there's some of those names that you said that are good, but the thing is, the road courses recently, Chase Elliott's good on road courses, but the thing with Hendrick Motorsports, there's some Hendrick Motorsports is not kind of performing. Some cars are performing, some are not. So I don't know how Hendrick would perform at the Daytona Road Course.
Well, I'll have to see. I think William Byron, I picked last year to win the Watkins Glen race, William Byron, and he had a fast car all weekend long, but it just didn't work out in the race.
Well, my pick. Well,
what?
Well, I was just saying that. Well, at the Roval, Jimmy Johnson, 2018 didn't have luck there. Well, Alex Bowman got a miracle second last year just to get in the playoffs at the Roval, which was impressive. But Alex Bowman, last time he went to the Roval, he had to battle through wrecks and all that to get that second place.
Right. All right. Let's go ahead and look at the Xfinity Series. I think we said enough about the Cups.
Yeah.
Cup side. So NASCAR Xfinity Series. 38 drivers. A lot of different names here. This will be round number 19 of 33. So they still have more than a handful of races left before the playoffs on their side of things. Yeah. Which driver will win? I'm actually looking at the entry list right now because they have a fluctuating list of drivers that can go, especially for the road races.
Yeah, they have different drivers, which some of them I don't know who they are. So yeah,
all right, let's just say,
obviously
Andy Lally finished 5th in our motorsports equipment, really growing that team to a greater level. Andy Lally, of course, a successful driver in the 24 Hours of Daytona. And I'm just going to leave it right here.
Not Harold Cruise.
He's won the 24 Hours of Daytona 5 times in his respective.
I should know who this is.
Andy Lally. I'm going to have Andy Lally win this race. But do you know what? There are other drivers I can go for. What about someone like Earl Bamber? Team owner from New Zealand, a Porsche factory driver, 24 Hours of Le Mans winner in a one-off race. Or Richard Childress. Earl Bamber is a 2-time Le Mans 24 Hours winner.
So who's your pick, Joseph?
Oh, let's not forget. Earl Bamber is also a 2-time Bathurst 12-hour winner.
Oh, I was just asking, who's your pick for?
But he's never won the 24 hours of Daytona.
Here he goes again.
So that's why I'm going with Andy Lally.
So your pick's Andy Lally.
Yes.
Huh. I'm just looking through. No, not that person. No, not these
It
people.
won't be a road course winner for me. Justin Allgaier. He finally wins one.
Make up for lost ground at Road America.
Well, just. Oh, jeez.
Guys, if you were looking to have Robbie Newton, aka Race Day 2011, join the podcast, wait another week.
I'm just trying to figure out. No,
He's
not
waking up from a slumber. Oh, okay. That doesn't need any more explaining. But he'll be back next week, and we'll talk more about the Indy 500. We will get into the Indy 500 qualifying predictions.
Meanwhile,
Come on. Come
Justin,
on.
who do you have winning at Daytona?
I'm trying to look. I almost pick a wrong person. I almost pick a slow driver in a slow car. That won't work out. Okay, mine is a bold prediction. I mean, really bold. This driver, he's ran 2 road course races in NASCAR. But he's not for a powerhouse team. This driver drives the number 07 for SS Greenlight Racing, Jade Buford.
You can't be any bolder than that.
Well, I almost picked Harold Crooms for
No.
Carl Long. That would have been worse. Well, Jade Buford has been decent in these road course races.
Comes from Trans Am Racing, so I think, at that experience at the sprint racing level, we'll get to him. All right, let's move on to the Truck Series. Truck Series predictions for the Daytona Road Course. We have a grand total of 39 trucks about to take that hard left turn for the first time in series history this weekend. So yeah, I'm just gonna look here. Truck Series of the Daytona Road Course. It's gonna be a classic.
Austin Hill for trucks.
Okay.
Not just because it has my first name, he's gonna win one.
A lot of drivers here are going to be working very hard. You're going to see a lot of surprises at the end of this thing.
I'm just trying to figure out who right now.
There are a lot of people that you can pick at this kind of level.
Oof.
I'm going to pick Alex Tagliani.
Okay.
I feel safe picking Alex Tagliani.
Okay, my pick, this driver has no NASCAR starts yet, but he has one ARCA start to his name and a couple ARCA West starts. This driver drives the number 24 GMS Racing Chevrolet. Chris Wright is going to win at the Daytona Road Course.
Chris Wright. Now, that's not a bad prediction. He is an endurance racer and has made starts at the track before. But there are going to be other drivers out there, besides Austin Hill, Chris Wright, and Alex Tagliani, that will have the guts to get out there and lead. Someone like Stuart Friesen will need a miracle win at this point to make the playoffs, and this could be it. But what about Rafael Lessard? Don't look away from Rafael Lessard.
Yeah, he's on the entry list.
Courses.
Yeah.
Todd Gilliland almost won a truck race at Mousport 2 years ago.
Well, he could have won, but his teammate
had other ideas.
Noah Gregson's like, nope, you're not winning, and he took both of them out and gave the win to Justin Haley, which was interesting.
Alrighty, with that said, I think we have our ARCA predictions in truck series. I don't know. I was thinking of
well, ARCA
anyways.
The ARCA entries list is not even released, so we don't know who's in the race. Like, if there's any other drivers in the race, probably Con Nicolopoulos will be so slow he'll get lapped. Probably.
I mean, if there's someone like Haley
I don't care. Make an extremely bold prediction. I know Danny's going to be watching. Haley Deegan.
You beat me to it. I think Haley Deegan is going to as well. In fact, she has a GT4 start for the Ford factory team.
Yeah, you know what? I don't care anymore. If she wins, I'm still going to be watching racing.
Well, my pick for
I can't see any of these ARCA regulars winning this race.
Well, you could.
Of who is going to finish the highest behind the road course ringers?
Well, I don't even know how many people are going to be in the race. You know, that ARCA race is...
Everyone's going to be surprised, shocked, and just petrified.
Well, the ARCA race is only...
It's over.
You know that ARCA race is only 29 laps at Daytona? I think that Con Nicolopoulos could get lapped if he's in the race. Because the cars are... Well, Daytona's... I don't know, but you're going to... Maybe he'll run the taxi paint scheme.
Oh my God, Justin.
No, he will.
You are something else. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the FIA World Endurance Championship. Actually, let's leave that for last. Second to last. We'll get into Supercars first because obviously Supercars was supposed to happen last weekend for the Darwin Triple Crown, but I guess they were told, nope, wait 1 week, and hopefully that stays the same. We'll just have to see where this goes. The Darwin Triple Crown last year, Scott McLaughlin won the race. So let's just see if I find it here. Scott McLaughlin won last year. First race was Russell Ingall back in 1998. Craig Lowndes has the most wins with 4 over Jamie Whincup and Scott McLaughlin. They have 3 apiece. Mark Scaife, Marcus Ambrose, and Todd Kelly have 2 wins, respectively. Most team wins. Triple Eight Race Engineering leads that list with 7 victories, while Holden Racing Team has 4. Stone Brothers Racing with 3 wins, as well as DJR Team Penske, formerly known as Johnson Racing, and Pro Drive Racing Australia, formerly known as Ford Performance Racing, has 2 wins. Most make wins. It's close, but Holden has 1 less win than Ford. Ford has more wins than Holden, 11 over 10. All right, there are 3 races this weekend. Which driver is going to have the best performance?
Well, Joseph, I don't think that's going to be too hard.
I know. Danny would be immediately.
Scott McLaughlin. Exactly. Yeah, Scott McLaughlin, he's just so good. He's just so good, which...
Lewis Hamilton of Supercars.
Yeah, he's basically the Lewis Hamilton of Supercars. At this point, he's just winning races and all that.
I'm going to go with Scott McLaughlin. Just make it easy.
Yeah.
I think he's going to win all 3 races, the Darwin Triple Crown.
Yep.
All right, Formula One. Spanish Grand Prix, round 6 of 13. Lewis Hamilton won last year. The first race was won by the one and only Juan Manuel Fangio back in 1951. In the second ever structured World Championship season. Michael Schumacher still holds the list for most victories at the Spanish Grand Prix with 6 over Lewis Hamilton with 4. Jackie Stewart, Nigel Mansell, Alain Prost, and Mika Hakkinen all have 3 wins at this track. while Emerson Fittipaldi, Mario Andretti, Ayrton Senna, Kimi Räikkönen, and Fernando Alonso shared 2 wins, respectively. As for constructors, Ferrari has 12 wins, more than any other. McLaren with 8, Williams with 7, Lotus with 6, Mercedes with 5, and Red Bull with 3. Let me add Dan back here.
Hey, sorry guys, I had to take off for a minute. I had to deal with some stuff.
Oh, did I mention that I hope Kimi Räikkönen wins?
Kimi Räikkönen,
He's not gonna
a
win.
long shot. Do you really? Okay.
I'm gonna say that every time, and I don't care what any of you think.
Good
I'm gonna
luck.
say that every damn time for the rest of the season.
Good
know,
luck.
You know, most of the time
Good
I will
luck.
be on for the rest of the season, on here.
I'm going to go with Lewis Hamilton. He will win 5th.
Yo,
I'm
Ralph
also,
Schumacher.
I'm also going with Lewis Hamilton.
How about you, Danny? You go with Hamilton? I guess he's someone else. All right, which driver beneath the top 3 teams will have their best run at Spain in Barcelona? So teams beneath Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari.
Well, Ferrari should
I
not
think
be
it's an easy
number
one.
3.
It's going to be racing, whether that's Sergio Perez or Nico Hulkenberg.
But what about what happens if one of them retire and that gives
It's Stroll in 4th place.
Well, you never know. He did it at Hungary.
What about McLaren?
Well, you said I don't know about McLaren. The speed at Spain yet. I don't know how fast they are.
Pre-race or no preseason testing.
Yeah, but that's different. It's different temperatures. We're now in
the summer.
August.
Tend to be ran in the spring.
Man, yeah, but the testing was in February, and we're in August, so it's hotter now in August. So
I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna have to go with Red Bull, man. Red Bull will win back to back, I think.
With which driver?
With Verstappen.
Max Verstappen going back to back?
Yeah, I see that.
That would be something interesting. All righty, let's here we got NASCAR, we covered F1. Supercars. Formula E. Who will win the last 2 races of the season? Race 1 for part 3 and race 2 for part 3. Race 1, I'm going to go with Antonio Felix da Costa. Race 2 will be, this isn't going to be a shocker, Mitch Evans.
I'm going to go with Mitch Evans as well.
What about race 2?
I'm going to have to go with da Costa.
okay. For me, I have Antonio Felix da Costa for race 1. And for race number 2, I have Lucas Degrassi for race 2.
All right, good. Okay, yeah, sports cars. This weekend, biggest race is the FIA World Endurance Championship. They are back for round 6 of the 2019-2020 WEC season with some extra changes, including the postponements of Spa 6 hours to August 15th this weekend. Then the 24 hours of Le Mans, which is now announced without fans at all on September 19th and 20th, month and 10 days from now, and they'll close for the 8 hours of Bahrain on the 21st of November. So I'm trying to find an entry list here.
Joseph, I just posted it.
Gracias.
That's the entry list. There's 4 LMP1s, 10 LMP2s, 6 LMGT Pros, and 10 LMGT AM cars. So 30 entries in total.
All right, so LMP1, I'm going to go with a pretty easy prediction because they have a more organized crew, depending on whatever BOP has to say. But it's going to be the number 8 Toyota Gazoo Racing of Sebastian Buemi, Kazuki Nakajima, and Brendan Hartley.
Okay. My pick is the number 7 Toyota Gazoo Racing, driven by Mike Conway, Kamui Kobayashi, and Jose Maria Lopez.
As for LMP2, my pick will be I'm going to go with the number 22 United Autosport. They won the 4 hours of Spa last week in the European Le Mans Series, and they're going to do it again.
Well.
Phil Hansen, Philippe Albuquerque, and Paul Di Resta.
Well, not so fast, Joseph. My pick is the number 38 Jota, driven by Roberto Gonzalez, Antonio Felix Acosta, and Anthony Davidson.
LMGT Pro is going to, of course, be a very short list. The GTE cars are really affecting the most of all the sports car specs during this pandemic. So there will only be 6 cars competing in the class. We'll have 2 F Corsa Ferraris, 2 Porsches, 2 factory Porsches, and 2 Aston Martin Racing Vantages. So for LMGT Pro, I'm going to go with the number 91 Porsche of Richard Leitz and Jimmy Bruni.
Okay. My pick is the number 95 Aston Martin Racing, driven by Marco Sorensen and Nicky Team.
It's a good pair as well. And, of course, probably the most competitive class is the LMGTE AM class. Now, remind you, most of these guys were racing this past weekend for the 4 hours of Spa in the ELMS series. The GTM has 10 cars. That makes up for overall of 30. My pick, I am going to have I'm going to go with the number 57 Team Project 1 Porsche of Ben Keating, Jeroen Bleekemolen, and Felipe Fraga.
Okay. My pick is the number 90 TF Sport Aston Martin Vantage, driven by Salah Yoluk, Charles Eastwood, and Jonathan Adam.
All right. See what do we have left. Now let's get into probably the most exciting part of this podcast, of the Indy 500.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Indy 500 predictions. Obviously, this weekend will be the qualifying. Now, we're not going to have to deal with the bump day.
Yeah, because there's only 33 entered, so everybody makes the Indy 500 this year.
Right, so that's one big cobweb people worry about getting knocked out with the broom and put out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With puns this evening. All right, so here's the entry list for the Indianapolis 500, and we're not going to get into more too lot. We'll get into more next week when Robbie Newton joins us,
and also we don't know
qualifying and all that.
Yeah, because qualifying, there's 2 days of qualifying. If people don't know, there's 2 days of qualifying for the Indy 500, which is on the Saturday, and the final day of qualifying is on Sunday. For people to know.
So yeah, the entry list: Joseph
Wow.
Newgarden for Team Penske, Elio Castroneves,
Come on.
winner.
Really, Wikipedia.
Elio Castroneves looking for a record-tying 4th win of the Indy 500. Charlie Kimball for AJ Foyt Enterprises. Pato Award for Aaron McLaren SP and his rookie teammate Oliver Askew. The number 8, Marcus Ericsson for Chip Ganassi Racing. Scott Dixon, who won in 2008 for Chip Ganassi Racing. And Felix Rosenquist for the Chip Ganassi Racing team. And number 10. The number 12 was Will Power for Team Penske, who won the 2018 Indy 500. Winner of the 2013 Indy 500, Tony Kanaan for AJ Foyt's team. Graham Rahal for Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. Santino Ferrucci with the Dale Coyne Racing Vassar Sullivan entry. And Ed Carpenter driving his team with rookie Renus VK in numbers 20 and 21. Simon Pagenaud won last year for Team Penske for number 22. Number 24, Dryer and Reinbold Racing entry, Sage Karam from Nazareth, Pennsylvania, home of the Andretti's. Zach Veach for Andretti Autosport. And then 2 former winners, Alexander Rossi won in 2016, and Ryan Hunter-Reay won in 2014 for Andretti Autosport, each driver. And James Hinchcliffe, the number 29 for Andretti Autosport. Takuma Sato won the 2017 race. He will drive number 30 for Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. Dalton Kellett, rookie driver for AJ Foyt Enterprises. And number 41, Spencer Piggott for Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing in the number 45 machine. Connor Daly for Ed Carpenter Racing, number 47. James Davison for Dale Coyne Racing with an effort from Bird and Rick Ware Racing. He's driving number 51 with rookie teammate Alex Palau for Dale Coyne Racing with Team GA. Max Chilton for Carlin will be in. Luckily for them, there is only 33 entries this year because they had a miserable Indy 500 month of May in 2019. Jack Harvey for Meyershank Racing with Andretti Technologies in the number 60. Fernando Alonso, who shocked everyone for the wrong reasons last year by missing out on the Indy 500, will be secured in this year for Aero McLaren SP, obviously because everyone is entered to make up 33 cars and only 33 cars this year. Jared Hildebrand, who had that heartbreaking second place finish in 2011, nearly winning the race in his first attempt 9 years ago, will be driving number 67 for Dryer Reinbold Racing. Ben Kennedy, number 81 for Dragon Speed.
Ben Kennedy.
Ben Hanley. I'm so
sorry. I was about to say, I'm like, when did Ben Kennedy announce IndyCar?
I'm in another universe. Don't listen to me.
You'll be okay.
Colton Herta for Andretti Harding Steinbrenner entry, and Marco Andretti, who almost won in 2006. Still looking to break that Andretti curse. So all those entries in there, and now the qualifying sessions will be this weekend. So the Aeroscreen test, of course, took place last year. Now, oval rookie test was this year. Then the pandemic started. So the open test will happen, of course, later on. And then August 12th will be the rookie orientation and first practice. So the qualifying sessions will be rookie orientation, practice, August 12th, August 13th, practice 2, practice 3, Fast Friday, and then time trials will begin on August 15th. August 16th will be the Fast 9 shootout, as well as a practice session. And, of course, the qualifying session, if necessary, will not be happening on Monday, August 17th. Carb Day will be on the 21st.
Hey Joseph, did you see what I put in the private chat?
Yes, get your NBC Sport Gold ready. Yeah.
Yeah. There's most practices are on NBC Sports Gold, and most are qualifying again. Yeah, NBC Sports. They really want you to pay that money.
Yeah, and then the Indy 500 will be on August 23rd. So,
yep, on NBC, regular NBC.
It's going to be a quick and sudden Indy 500. It's not the one that people wanted to have when it comes to festivities and all the pageantry that people enjoy before and during the typical month of the Indy 500, which is not in May this year. But nonetheless, we still have the race, and that is good news at best.
Yeah, you can watch on TV.
All right, so let's predict the top 3 stars. Who will be on the front row when we come back here next week?
Oof. Oh, this is going to be jeez.
I'm going to give you my predictions, and you guys might be shocked with this.
Who's your front row, Joseph?
Fernando Alonso will win the pole.
What?
Fernando Alonso will win the pole on the front row. So in the middle lane in the front row is going to be a driver that has kind of been in the field since he started in 2006 and has kept that last name alive and active. Marco Andretti. In the left lane in row 1 will be.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
It will be a rookie driver in paddle.
What the heck is that from?
You know what? I'm gonna have to combat that. As much as I like Fernando Alonso, I don't think he's gonna be in the front row. I second he will be on the second row. But I'm gonna give you my prediction. Joseph Newgarden will be on pole. Scott Dixon will be in second, and Tony Kanaan will be in third.
Good predictions.
Okay. My front row.
No. Hold on. It will be an all Penske sweep.
Oh.
It's going to be an all Penske sweep. Newgarden, Castroneves, and Will Power.
Okay. Wow, you forgot. My prediction for the front row, it's going to be Ed Carpenter first, Connor Daly second, third place, James Hinchcliffe. So, Ed Carpenter's cars. So, yeah, you're going to have Ed Carpenter on the pole, his teammate Connor Daly alongside in second, and third place James Hinchcliffe for Andretti Autosport.
All right. I think we have enough for 85.
Well, it's better than Fernando Alonso on the pole.
Don't forget how he ran in 2017. People want to forget that.
Kyle Kaiser bumped him last year, which was interesting seeing Kyle
Kaiser
last year.
Is he even in the field this year?
No, they're not entered this year. Because Kyle Kaiser was impressive. When he did that qualifying lap, remember when he crashed, Joseph?
I thought it was over.
Yeah, but when he got in, he just bumped Alonso. I'm like, holy cow. That was just an impressive lap he put.
So, yeah, let's just get into Eric Jones and leaving Joe Gibbs Racing now that we know that Christopher Bell will be driving the 20 next year. What will
that's no
the future be
surprise.
for Eric Jones in the NASCAR Cup Series?
It's about time.
I just don't know where Eric Jones is going to go.
There's a spot wide open at Hendrick Motorsports.
But it's just
on Eric Jones.
No.
well
No.
that 5. Well, they're most likely gonna renumber the car to the 5. That's I think.
No.
Because the
Why
25.
are you processing this so much, Austin? Can you have
It's not going to happen.
What's
Well,
not gonna
It's
happen?
not going to happen. They're not going to rename the number. It's because it's going to be down to our free car team. Bold prediction. Goodbye.
Well, no, it's not. Well,
Wait. What are you talking about?
people say it's
Eric
going to be.
Jones and Hendrick Motorsports for 2021?
Could happen. It
I
could
think it's a
happen.
great. This would be like Joe Gibbs Racing missing out on bringing Kyle Busch to the team back in 2008.
Like, it's just like they need somebody else solid. Like, the thing about Hendrick Motorsports,
Eric Jones is one good chemistry away from being a championship.
That will never happen.
like Chase Elliott, he's good. William Byron, his cars are not the best. Alex Bowman's crew chief's not the best, which is true. Yes,
Austin, as much as I'm
Let
gonna have to agree
let him
with Austin,
finish. Let him finish.
I was saying that they need drivers that have good chemistry. Chase Elliott has good chemistry. William Byron's cars are not the best. Alex Bowman's crew chief is not the best either, so that's already a problem with Hendrick Motorsports with their.
If you go beneath the Cup Series, what does Hendrick Motorsports and the factory Chevy camp really have to bring to the table? Noah Gragson. I mean, it's not the really inspiring kind of season I expected.
No.
Daytona.
Well,
Daniel Hemrick could be a pick, but I just don't think
but
that's.
Hemrick, you saw what happened last year.
He wasn't
compared-
ready for the Cup Series.
Tyler Reddick performed way better this season than what Reddick did last year.
Hemrick.
But Reddick did better at the 8, so I'm glad they put Reddick in the 8.
I think Hemrick needs to do at least a few more years in Xfinity. He still has
Like-
potential, but 21,
He was
2021 is
rushed,
not going to be the
man.
year for him. All right, and also let's not forget about
Oh, jeez.
I was about to say, Austin, for once, I'm gonna have to agree with you.
What?
What?
Three car team?
Yes.
Well, I just don't.
Moffitt.
What?
I mean, if they get sponsors, I mean, that's probably
Well, like it's just like Hendrick has been a 4-car team since the early 2000s. They've been a 4-car team since the early 2000s.
do
But
they need to be a 4-car team?
if they have to
Again,
decide
Roush
on
was a 5-car team once. Now it's down to 2. I see Hendrick doing the same.
Well, Roush is different. Roush had shitty drivers, kind of. With Stenhouse wrecking cars, Trevor Bayne wrecking cars, so that's why they had to downgrade.
Wrong team.
Well, they just
For a little bit.
yeah, but it's like it's basically Hendrick has not been wrecking cars.
They're still the lead factory Chevy team.
Yeah, like RCR is not gonna be fast. Like they're the only team that could have 4 cars. RCR they
But here's
can.
the thing, what about Chip Ganassi Racing? Matt Kenseth and the Ford team might be good this year just to fill in what was left after the removal of Kyle Larson. But what about the next few years? I know people are saying, oh, Bubba Wallace could be in there, but he also owns a partial
Well,
stake in Richard Petty Motorsports, the current team he drives for, and possibly they could get some better resources in the future depending on what they can do financially.
well, there's also talks about Ross Chastain in the 42. That's also a talk about.
But those talks haven't really been awakened yet. But the thing is, like, the silly season is just started. Now we know Christopher Bell's going to Joe Gibbs Racing this year. They couldn't hold him back any further.
It's like it's just we
know Toyota has 2 little spots in the Cup Series for the majority of the development drivers are in Toyota with the
there's too many
spots in
there's
the Cup
too
Series.
many. There's
There's
too
some
many.
options for Chevy, but they don't have the development drivers that are ready to take the challenge in the Cup Series, while Ford has a level of drivers that are ready for the Cup Series, but there are still some spots that could be filled over there.
Like the thing with different manufacturers, like Chevy, there's only 3 teams with Hendrick engines. If people don't know, JTG Darty Racing, Hendrick Motorsports, and Chip Ganassi Racing. They're the only teams with Hendrick engines. The others have ECR engines, which is the RCR engines, which people don't know. That this is another rumor that's
Richard Petty gets their motors from
RCR.
RCR.
Yeah, the Richard Childress engines, which people don't. But there's a rumor, another rumor, which is a big rumor. There's a rumor about Chase Briscoe going to the 14. But do you want to know what else is a rumor? Ryan Preece going down and driving the 98. That's another rumor.
That's a big rumor.
Like, if that happens, who would take that 37 ride?
Thing, though, I mean, that could very well be a driver like Daniel Hemrick.
Because somebody, like, I don't know if Stenhouse will be confirmed again. Like, who would take?
They probably will keep Stenhouse, but if you say that, like, if Briscoe goes up to the Cup Series level,
and then Ron Preece goes down the 98 car, who's gonna take that 37 car? Like, if that happens, like,
or if Ryan Preece goes back to racing in the modifieds in New England, but he put everything aside, everything down to get his chance in the Cup Series. So I don't think he's going to leave anytime soon. Even though the numbers aren't showing, he's going to do whatever it takes to stay in there. Well, I'll have to find out. I mean, we are reaching the end of this podcast here. We'll be back next week with a lot more in our racing discussions. But yeah, the silly season really just got started.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's probably never going to end. Hope.
Not until the green flag drops at Daytona next year. All right. Thanks for watching the Below the Yellow Line podcast. For my partners, Austin LaPlante, Justin Hebert, and Daniel Ford, I'm Joe Lenny Pavon. Have a great rest of your week and your weekend and enjoy the racing. We'll be back next week.
See you